All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Sahara, 1943. Giving it 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this. This is going to be another war propaganda movie. They're calling it an action war film. Sensational, dramatic, emotional, memorable. That's what it says on the theatrical release poster. Gets a whopping 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 8,808. So it's a lamestream movie, another oldie lamestream that I hate. It's directed by Zoltan Korda. Stars Humphrey Bogart as American tank commander in Libya, who, along with a handful of Allied soldiers, tries to defend an isolated well with limited supply of water from a German Afrika Korps battalion during the Western Desert Campaign of World War II. The story is based on the novel Patrol by Philip MacDonald and an incident depicted in the 1936 Soviet film The 13 by Mikhail Rome. So not only is it a war propaganda film, but it's also a communist turd film. The adaptation is by John Howard Lawson, who later was a member of the blacklisted Hollywood 10. There you go. Soviet film, blacklisted Hollywood 10. Humphrey Bogart. Need I say more? Sahara was remade by Andre de Toth as a Western called Last of the Comanches in 1953, and 3 decades later by Brian Trenchard Smith as the American-Australian television film Sahara, 1995. So there's a remake. And a Western version in the 50s. Critics praised the film for its blend of action, suspense, and poignancy. Okay. J. Carroll Naish. If you're patriotic and you like communism, then I guess it's poignant. J. Carroll Naish earned an Oscar nomination, Best Supporting Actor, for his role as an Italian prisoner. I didn't think he was very convincing with this fake Italian accent. Rudolph Mattei was nominated for Best Cinematography, Black and White, and John Liveldry was nominated for Best Sound. So it got 3 Academy Award nominations. Events are depicted which point to the Battle of Gazala, an important battle of the Western Desert Campaign fought around the port of Tobruk. Bogarts make reference to events that occurred in May to June 1942. The battle had begun with the British stronger in terms of both numbers and quality of equipment, and after having received many of the American M3 tanks, the tanks seen in the film, a small group of American advisors and crews trained the British in the use of the equipment. The British forces were routed, and as shown in Sahara, many tanks were damaged but were unable to be salvaged due to the 8th Army's retreat. The British lost virtually all their tanks, although a small number were evacuated. General Rommel pursued the British into Egypt, trying to keep British forces under pressure and denying them the opportunity to regroup as both sides neared exhaustion. The British were able to check Rommel's advance at the First Battle of El Alamein. Bogart's character and his M3 crew are able to rally before hearing a radio report about the British victory. Okay. Here we go. Plot. The crew of the Lullabelle, a U.S. Army M3 Lee tank attached to the British 8th Army, commanded by Master Sergeant Joe Gunn, played by Humphrey Bogart, became separated from their unit during a general retreat from German forces after the fall of Tobruk. Heading south across the Libyan desert to rejoin the rest of their unit, Gunn and his crew, Doyle and Waco, played by Bruce Bennett, come across the bombed-out field hospital where they pick up British Army medical officer Captain Halliday, 4 Commonwealth soldiers, including Lloyd Bridges with a fake British accent, and Free French Corporal Larux. Halliday, the only officer, cedes command to the more experienced Gunn. Riding on the tank, the group soon comes upon a Sudan Defense Force Sergeant Major Tambol. Got the token black actor to make it more balanced. And his Italian prisoner, Giuseppe, played by J. Carroll Naish, with the fake Italian accent. Tambol volunteers to lead them to a well at Hassan Barani. Gunn insists that they leave the Italian behind, but after driving a few hundred feet, Gunn relents and lets Giuseppe join them. So he's soft. Humphrey Bogart is soft. He's going to let the Italian fascist join the crew, get food and water. All right. He's not going to die in the desert. Can't let J. Carroll Naish die in the desert. En route, Luftwaffe pilot Captain von Schlechtau strays the tank, seriously wounding Clarkson, one of the British soldiers. The German fighter aircraft is shot down and von Schlechtau is captured. Arriving at Hassan Barani, the group finds the well is dry and Clarkson succumbs to his wounds. Lloyd Bridges is dead. He didn't last very long in this one. Lloyd Bridges is the first one to die. Tambol guides them to another desert well at Bur Akramba, but it provides only a trickle of water. While the group collect as much water as they can, German scouts arrive in half-track. Gunn captures 2 of the men and learns that a German mechanized battalion desperate for water is falling close behind. Gunn persuades the Allies to make a stand to delay the Germans while Waco takes the half-track for reinforcements. The 2 German soldiers are released to carry back an offer to their commander to swap food for water, even though there is little water left. When the German battalion arrives, a battle of wills begins between Guns and the German commander, Major von Falken. By now, the well has run dry, but Gunn keeps up the pretense and changes the offer to swap water for guns to buy time. The Germans reject the terms and mount several frontal attacks. Each attack is beaten back, but the 9 Allied defenders are picked off one by one till only Gunn and the one other are left. During one attack, von Schlechtau stabs Giuseppe when the Italian refuses to help him escape, and he denounces fascism. Wow, what a change of heart. He was fighting for Il Duce, and now he's denouncing fascism. Before he dies, Giuseppe manages to warn Gunn. He likes his U.S. Brit comrades. So he's going to go against fascism now. Tambol chases von Schlechtau down and kills him before he can tell the Germans the truth about the well, but Tambol is shot dead. After a second parley with von Hauken ends in another stalemate, von Hauken and his men shoot Leroux in the back as the Frenchman returns to his own side. Gunn and his men return fire, killing von Falken. The Germans begin what appears to be a final assault, but it turns into a full-blown surrender. They drop their weapons and they claw across the sand towards the well. To gun's shock, a German shell that exploded near the well has tapped into a hidden source of water, filling the well. While the surviving Germans drink, Gunn and Bates, the only Allied survivors, disarm them. Later, as they march their prisoners east, Gunn and Bates are met by Allied troops guided by Waco. So Waco was, in the middle of the movie, Waco was crawling in the desert. I don't know how he got there. I wasn't paying attention. Bruce Bennett, Waco. But I didn't like any of the characters in this movie. At one point, Humphrey Bogart is praising communism. He's going, why did the Russians fight back against the Nazis? Why did the Chinese go against the Japs? Oh, man. This movie's a real bummer. The lead role was initially offered to Gary Cooper, Glenn Ford, and Brian Dunleavy before Bogart. I just saw Brian Dunleavy in a movie. According to Hedda Hopper, Dunleavy's wife, Marjorie Lane, was expecting a baby, and he didn't want to be stuck on location. Daughter Judy was born February 20th. Variety, however, reported that Dunleavy was tired of making war films. Bogart was worried of gangster roles, so the actor swapped assignments. Dunleavy stepped into My Friend Curly, released as Once Upon a Time in 1944, which I have not seen. And Bogart took Somewhere in the Sahara, the film's working title. Production began on January 29th, 1943, and it wrapped up on April 17th, 1943. That's a long production. The cast and crew spent 11 weeks on location in Imperial County, California, portion of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park near the Salton Sea. Never been there. I've been to Death Valley, wherever that is. They're based at the Planters Hotel in Brawley, California, about 50 miles or 80 kilometers east of the location. Soldiers and equipment of the U.S. 4th Armored Division, then in training at the Desert Training Center, were used as extras. The soldiers were billeted in tents at the location. The American tank, nicknamed Lullabelle, was a 28-ton medium tank with 30 and 50 caliber machine guns and a 75 millimeter cannon. The tank required 100 octane fuel. Because no German equipment was available for the production, U.S. equipment was substituted and dressed with German markings. The aircraft that attacks the tank was an early Allison-powered P-51 Mustang. The German SDKF 251 half-track and MG-34 machine guns were an American M2 and a M49 ring mounted with a Victor's medium machine gun. In 1992, Kurt Kruger was quoted by the San Francisco Chronicle on the emotions inherent in making the film, in which he portrayed a stereotypical Nazi. I was running across the dunes when Tumbal jumped on top of me, and he pressed his head in the sand to suffocate me. Only Zoltan forgot to yell cut, and Ingram was so emotionally caught up in the scene, he kept pressing my face harder and harder. Finally, I went unconscious. Nobody knew this. Even the crew was transfixed, watching this dramatic killing. If Zoltan hadn't finally said cut as an afterthought, it would have been all over for me. The production was beset by the usual difficulties on the desert location: sunburn, sandstorms, and heat. Corda had 2,000 tons of sand hauled onto the set to cover an area of hard-packed soil. Ripples and swirls in the sand were enhanced by painting the sand and then blowing it with a wind machine. Similarly, shadows were spray painting on the hills to make them stand out. Makeup artist Henry Pringle devised a technique to imitate facial perception by coating the actors' faces with Vaseline, then spraying them with water. Bogart's third wife, Mayo Mathot, the only woman on location, reportedly brought him lunch every day from Brawley. Later in 1943, Bogart met Lauren Bacall as co-star in To Have Not, which I have not seen, and eventually fourth wife. Wow, Hollyweird. 4 wives? I've only had 2. Some of the cast went to nearby Mexicali for dinners. No women appear in the film. Reviews of Sahara were generally positive. In 1995, Jim Belushi starred in the Bogart role in TV remake, also titled Sahara. The tank, commanded by Sergeant Tree Dan Aykroyd and director Steven Spielberg's World War II comedy film 1941, is named Lullaby as an homage to Sahara. I haven't seen 1941. Well, I have seen 1941. What am I saying? Yeah. That's the only movie that they mention on Wikipedia that I've actually seen, 1941, and I didn't like it. What did I give him 1941? That's the one with Jim Belushi, right? Aykroyd is in it also? I don't even remember. It's been so long. All right. So the goofball managers give me 30 to 36 hours, and the excuse is that business kind of ebbs and flows. They put me on call for 3 days, but they don't have any shifts for me, so I begged the manager for a night shift on Wednesday. I gave 1941 2 out of 5 stars, so I thought it was a little better than this, but not much. Dan Aykroyd, Ned Beatty, John Belushi, Murray Hamilton, Christopher Lee, Tim Matheson, Warren Oates, John Candy. Now there's the star-studded cast. I'm starting to dislike horror movies. I should be out there getting groceries. Surveying the Sunset District for rent signs. I was going to do that for about an hour, but I think I'm going to take a nap now. I got a job phone interview at 1 p.m. It's some kind of a caregiver role. They're probably going to force me to get the COVID shots, and they'll say, no way. I'm not getting your Nazi health care. I just want a job in exchange for services, period. If you want to drug test me and make me wear a mask, I'll wear a gaiter. My manager calls it a rag, but it's the only thing I can breathe in with my severe allergies. And yeah. So I asked around work if anybody knew about any rooms for rent on the peninsula. And I got 3 leads, a couple black dudes and a couple black drivers, and one very comely white woman, youngin'. She's like 4'5", I think, and she wears this tank top all the time. She was always really nice, saying hi. I don't know if she got in trouble with work or she broke up with her boyfriend or what happened, but she's not she's not too happy. She said she knows an in-law unit in San Mateo or Daly City or both, which is actually closer to my son. So she said she left the lady a voicemail. She used to do events for the lady or something. I don't know. And then one driver said that he knew somebody who was renting a room, but the renter was leaving cigarette butts. So I don't know if that's a lead. I don't know if the comely young white woman's gonna fall through. The other black driver said he's going to help me out with something something reasonable, whatever that means, and in San Mateo or San Carlos. So I'm making progress with my job search and my search for a new place. Hopefully I don't have to live in my car, go shower at the community college. That's a worst case scenario. My former coworker, this older white woman, really overweight, she connected with me on LinkedIn. I guess she got laid off around the same time as I did from the cable construction company. And I told her my situation. I was making about $1,000 a day on Robinhood and paper profits, but today the market's down. I was doing that for a few days. I think I'm up to 22,000 on my Robinhood. My goal for this year is 30,000. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I can just get there through capital appreciation. I don't know. I bought a ton of Nakarta stock and it went from like 13 to 15. So that was good. Yeah, Sahara. It's I didn't think of any of the characters in this were believable. The German, the Lloyd Bridges with the fake British accent, first one to get killed, or J. Carroll Naish with the fake Italian accent, or Humphrey Bogart with his pro-communist gung-ho attitude. Oh man. Now I see why he and Bacall were against the un-American the House Un-American Activities Committee. This is before Richard Nixon was shaking hands with Mao Zedong. 15 years before. But I guess it would have been 25 years before. It started in the 40s, right? It started in the mid 40s. All right. So I don't know what else to say. Just Humphrey Bogart in a tank shooting a bunch of Nazis. Against all odds, it's like 10 versus 500. But the Nazis are more concerned about water than they are about killing Humphrey Bogart. I thought it was boring. Maybe I'm just not a fan of World War II movies, and I apologize. Probably going to get comments saying, no, you didn't watch the movie. You just read off of Wikipedia. I try to pay attention. and I tried to insert my commentary in between the lines on Wikipedia. All right, so this video is going over 25 minutes. I read a lot. I gave you everything you ever want to know about this flick, except for the box office. How much box office did this thing make? Probably a lot. 1943 war film. Some top-notch actors. Box office 2.3 million. Three Oscar nominations: Best Sound, Best Cinematography, Best Supporting Actor. I don't know what the budget was on this thing. If I go to IMDb, I can look up the budget. Where's the budget? Okay, so gross US and Canada 2.3 million. They don't put a budget on IMDb anymore. Well, that stinks. Shall I tell you what's coming down the pike since I have all this time on my hands to look for work, watch movies? and look for a new place? Pretty much gave up finding a girlfriend. It's hopeless. I have no time to date. I got so much stuff to do. I got my bus driving check yesterday, and I probably went to the bank last night, even though I was tired. I ended up getting a decent 10-hour sleep. I actually slept in today. It's a good thing, too, because I had a negative balance on my checking account on Friday. I'm going to have to bump up my checking account balance to 1705. Sahara gets one out of 5. I'm still waiting for Video Violence 1 and 2. Replacement shipment is supposed to arrive tomorrow. And Scarlet Pimpernel is supposed to arrive tomorrow. Got 2 arriving tomorrow. I'm going to try to watch another one off my list today. I got Kundun, 1997. That's a Martin Scorsese flick. Something about the Dalai Lama, which I'm not too interested in. Then I got Sergeant York, 1941. The Seventh Victim, Shadows in the Dark, double feature. Then there's a documentary called Shadows in the Dark, the Val Lewton Legacy, narrated by actor James Cromwell. So that's what's coming down the pike next week. Shall I go down my list? This is going to take a while. I'm never getting through this list. Unless I get fired from my from my grocery delivery job or something. This is going to take me forever to go through this list. All right. The Wasp Woman, 1959. I started watching that. Adrian was excited. He posted a comment about The Wasp Woman. Jack London, 1943. The Monster of Piedras Blancas, 1959. The Crawling Hand, 1963. Invasion of the Animal People, 1959. The Jungle, 1952. One Body Too Many, 1944. Blood Warriors, 1933. Screaming Tiger, 1973. The Wild World of Batwoman, 1966. Queen of the Amazons, 1947. Hell Up in Harlem, 1973. Snow Beast, 1977. Platoon Leader, 1988. Sherlock Holmes, The Case of the Reluctant Carpenter, TV episode 21, 1955. Mercenary Fighters, 1988. The Buckskin Lady, 1957. Stormcatcher, 1999. The Taking of Beverly Hills, 1991. The Manster, 1959. Bedside Manor, 1945, a.k.a. Her Favorite Patient. What's this? Dark Mountain, 1944. So, yeah. I'm trying to keep more on my checking count than I normally do to avoid having another. But it came down to getting my birth certificate, buying all these clothes, blue and white button-down shirts and black pants for my bus driver training. The Crater Lake Monster, 1977. The Giant Spider Invasion. Stick, 1985. What's this? The Forest, 1982. And I'm having to cash out my vacation time because 30 to 36 hours, not enough for me to survive. Here, the Crater Lake Monster, 1977. The Giant Spider Invasion. Stick, 1985. I said that. Phantom from Space, 1950. The Dungeon of Horror, 1962. The Amazing Mr. X, 1948. Damnation Alley, 1977. This one is The Most Dangerous Game, 1938. I switched phone numbers with that young white gal who works in the warehouse, running around in her tank top every day and her sweat. I didn't really care that much about her until one day she said hello. Then we exchanged names and phone numbers. And I asked her about helping me out find a place. She seemed like she was really interested in helping me, but she doesn't text me or call me. We just talk at work. She says, "Oh, hi, Ben." That kind of thing. Which is cool. At least she talks to me. All right. Shadow Warriors 2, Assault on Death Mountain. I don't know what year that is. I can't see it. It's not Assault on Death Mountain. It's Assault on Death something. All right. Karate Man knows the year and the actual title. Law of the Jungle, 1942. Blake of Scotland Yard, 1937. Kansas City Confidential, 1952. The White Cannibal Queen, 1980. Windjammer, 1937. Swamp Fire, 1946. Police Story 4. Blood Ring, 1991. Hostile Country, 1950. Rotor, The Wrong Road, 1937. You Bet Your Life, Identity Unknown, 1945. Chain for Life, 1952. Untamed Women, 1952. The Case of Christmas Pudding, Sherlock Holmes TV episode 23, 1955. Texas, Brooklyn, and Heaven, 1948. I'm just going to do one review on the Sherlock Holmes TV show after I watch the first one. I'm not going to do 2 reviews for 2 episodes of television. I'm just going to do the entire series based on 1 episode. How's that? All right. So there you have it. Another review. I'm back in business. Take that, Rambo Raff for life. All right. Well, I'll wait for Adrian to post comment. Maybe I'll get a recommendation from Karate Man or a welcome back from Professor Quiz. There's one guy who commented that he was criticizing me because I didn't like James Brown, the King of Soul. I have no soul. And he asked me what kind of music I like. So I told him I like 90s college radio stuff. Hip hop, noise. What else? Punk, metal, shoegaze. Those are my 5 favorite music genres. My son probably thinks that I'm listening to satanic music. But anyways, he likes to listen to Gregorian chants, which I haven't gotten into yet, but I might eventually. Gregorian chants are very peaceful. And all right. So that's it. I get my son back on Thursday. I'm going to fire up some bacon burgers, which I'm cooking today, tomorrow, and last night, and also Thursday. I'm going to gain about 20 pounds on bacon burgers this week. But I do go to work tomorrow night while my son is still on vacation at his mother's house. So maybe I'll lose weight lugging around groceries tomorrow night. I worked less than 12 hours yesterday, and I hit all my stops 5 to 25 minutes early. So I told the manager, he was impressed. He said, "That's awesome." I did 2 batches in less than 12 hours, partly because I took my lunch break in between shifts. I figured out how to do it finally. It took me a while to figure out, but all these supplement pills, acetyl-carnitine, fish oil, are helping my brain to function. Because the goofball manager said, if I'm working 12 hours a day, he's going to reevaluate my schedule again, cut my hours. What a jerk. His only purpose in life is to cut my hours and take away my wages. Oh, man. What a bummer it is to come to work and listen to that guy. But once I hit the road, I'm okay. I got the radio on. I'm talking to customers. I'm asking customers around here if they know any rooms for rent. They don't. All right, I'm up over 40 minutes. I'll let you go. Not highly recommended. Don't check it out, but skip it. I'm going to walk over to the mailbox and plop this in there right now. Laters.